congratulations, Daniel, are in order. You're already 1 for 1 in your mock draft. You just take it from here. Go for it.
Well, and first of all, I like Trevor Lawrence's opportunity to be a member of the Jags in 2026. I think he does make it beyond the 5 years. He goes wire to wire, is the number 1 pick in this draft from the first mock draft to the last. Because when you look at him, he's a prototype. You have the size, the athleticism, every throw he can make. That's the on-the-field stuff, and Kurt, the off-the-field stuff is even better.
And he's a complete player. When you're looking at a guy to take number 1 overall, you're looking to see how complete this guy is. For me, it's about processing first. I love this stuff. Anticipation. Read the defense, get the ball out on time before your guy even turns around. Charles, might want to avert your eyes. Those safeties on the back end. Get nosy.
Get deep.
Get nosy.
Get deep.
This guy will make you pay. That middle safety's going to squat. He's got the ability and the big-time arm to go up over the top. And you see the touch. Beautiful touch on the deep ball. And then athleticism. You mentioned it, DJ. And it's not how fast you run the 40. It's how you can create and feel things at the quarterback position. He does an unbelievable job with creating some of those opportunities. This throw on the run at the back of the end zone, really, really well done. Now, I always want to point out the things they got to work on. All of these guys have things that they have to work on. There'll be times that he rushes the game a little bit. Didn't deal with a lot of pressure with a good team in Clemson. He'll rush it, make some bad decisions when he rushes things, Charles. So that's the one thing he's got to work on, but the most complete of these 5 really good quarterbacks.
Well, thanks a lot for that highlight, Kurt. You brought back memories that weren't great for me. But when we talk about these young quarterbacks, what's around them is a big key. Well, in Jacksonville, you've got a head coach who's got something to prove. Won big in college. He wants to do the same thing in the NFL in Urban Meyer. How about that offensive line? I think it's a solid unit for him to start with. A running back last year as a rookie, undrafted, over 1,000 yards. So you've got that going for you. Wide receiver core, they got beefed up in the offseason, getting Marvin Jones, and a veteran tight end in Tyler Eifert to help guide this young guy. He's not starting bereft of people around him.
Let's move to number 2 overall, and for weeks, this has been a pick that's been put in Sharpie by anybody who covers the NFL and talks about the NFL and breathes the NFL. Is this Zach Wilson for the Jets?
Yeah, I do think your Jets are going to take Zach Wilson out of BYU, Rich, and somebody that really wasn't on the radar screen before this year was coming off of an injury in 2019. In 2020, he was healthy, and he put on a show for BYU. People can look at the competition all you want. The throws that he makes translate to the next level. He's a loose, natural thrower, on platform, off platform. It's outstanding. And I can go to the video and show you some things that I think as a Jets fan, Rich, should get you fired up about this new era under Robert Saleh of Jets football. He's comfortable with his back to the defense, off-play action, and you'll see some big-time missiles from Wilson like this one against BYU. Every game you see 4 throws just like that one. How about division? You're bracketed in the middle of the field. Let's work inside out, and let's show some touch to layer this ball right over the top, right into the bucket. So the ball placement has been outstanding. Here's the fun stuff. Rolling to the right, get your feet off the ground, across your body with accuracy and with pace on the football. How about some creativity? A little Patrick Mahomes to him right there, dropping his arm angle down. On the move, one of my favorite throws, both feet up in the air. Heck of a catch out there by BYU. Just freeze it. Let's just let Rich enjoy these highlights. Let him breathe for a second about what this Jets offense can look like with Zach Wilson. And finally, pro day throw of the pro day season, fading to your left. It was such an impressive throw by Zach Wilson that all of the QB pro days after that, they attempted that same throw. They might have completed the ball, but it looked a little bit different coming out of Zach Wilson's hand.
Yeah, you said 4 words Jets fans usually don't say. Pause and enjoy it. But that's what they're going to say. What do you think about this pick?
So are you? I mean, I want to know how you're feeling about this pick right now.
Oh, I'm beyond out of my mind. I don't know, Kurt. You just have to sit back and trust the process. Yeah. Joe Douglas has got this thing. You just got to sit back and trust the process.
And I love what DJ was talking about with Zach Wilson because he is so athletic, the way he plays the position. And I know a lot of people hear athleticism and they talk about body type and how fast you run the 40. For me, it's your feel in the pocket, your ability to recognize and make different kinds of throws. Velocity, I always say firm but soft. Can you get the velocity on it but not overpower your guys with throws? I love the way he plays the game, and he reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. Now, I never like to put that on guys, but I believe this guy jumps up to number 2 because our imaginations were sparked a little bit when we saw Patrick Mahomes as kind of a wild, crazy guy in college that had this kind of ability with his right arm, and now what he's become in the NFL. makes us all say, if there's just a little of that in Zach Wilson, you and that Jets faithful are going to be really, really happy.
He's so nervous, Kurt.
I
I can see the nerves
That's
on
what I'm
his
saying.
face.
Look, gentlemen.
He's scared to death.
Gentlemen, don't be fooled by this calm demeanor in this well-tailored suit. Charles, the question is, though, it's so rare to see if the Jets make this pick, it will be the shortest amount of time in the common draft era for a team to choose a quarterback top 3 overall in just 3 separate years, 4 separate drafts. Is this an upgrade over Sam Darnold, who they chose just 3 years ago?
Well, Sam Darnold can't wait to tell us all no by what he does in Carolina. But I think the answer actually is yes, because the Jets have changed as an organization. You have a head coach and general manager now in lockstep. They have also increased the roster. They've got a wide receiver. Corey Davis had his best year in Tennessee last year, coming to help solidify things out wide. They drafted the left tackle Mekhi Becton last year, so there's a foundation for him in the front line. The 2021 draft will bring more players and more weapons for him. And don't forget what they did in free agency, guys. Carl Lawson, Sheldon Rankins, and then, of course, they ended up getting C.J. Mosley back on the opt-in. So they're getting better all the way around. So the answer to me is yes, this is going to be an upgrade. The beneficiary is Zach Wilson.
Well, you reveal. Who do you got?
I'm following the breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs are taking me to Mac Jones from Alabama. As somebody who, this is all about fit for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. He values accuracy. He values processing over every other trait at the quarterback position, and those are the 2 hallmarks of Mac Jones' game. Now, to me, when you look at him, touch and timing, on schedule, you're hoping he's going to be Matt Ryan, who Kyle has a lot of experience with, led him to an MVP there with the Falcons. But this is what I think they're going to do. If you're asking me what I would do, I would take Trey Lance because I think he adds a little something extra to this offense and could take it to a new place, Kurt.
And that's what I love. You're a man of the people, right? Early in the draft, we want intrigue. We want drama. Yeah, I think they're going to do this, but I would do that. So the question is, you're giving the people what they want. Will you give me what I want in your mock draft? And you know I want XOs. And you come on our show all the time on NFL Game Day Morning and bring the XO Showdown.
Oh, look at this.
We have a mock draft.
Yes.
Let's throw down.
All right.
I accept.
Let's
go ahead.
do
You
this.
go first.
I will go first, and I'll go with who you believe the 49ers are going to take, and that's Mac Jones. And I'll tell you what I really like about him and why I believe he's a fit. And it's about processing, right? He's got pressure in his face. I know we're going to talk about some lack of athleticism, but man, a guy in his face, let that ball go. Give your guy a chance. Here, reading defense. Got man coverage on the back end. Let me hold that safety. Got a linebacker coming, hit me between the numbers. Drop a dime on the back end. A little play action right here. Once again, Charles, there's the safety biting up. Again? I can make you pay down the field. Now, I know you have questions here, DJ, and this is why. It's the athleticism. Is he transcendent athletically? When he has to get on the move, you're going to see some misses like this, and that is my concern. You make this move to go up to the number 3 pick. Are you getting a transcendent quarterback? And you'll see this over and over again. Yeah, he's got enough arm against air. Does he have enough arm against the NFL talent that he's going to see? That's my big question.
That's a really good XO there, Kurt. You brought your best effort. I thought you were competitive, and that's big to be competitive. It's not going to be enough, though, because I'm going to go to Trey Lance.
This is your day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's roll a little Trey Lance here, and I'll get involved in this XO showdown to show you what I like about the North Dakota State signal caller. You want to talk about horsepower, being able to power the football.
Man.
He does it as well as anybody in this draft class. He has a cannon back there. All right, pro style. He's been in an NFL-style offense. He's been under center. Back to the defense. Get on the move, and you'll see a strike. We just saw a miss a second ago. That one was right on the money. Play action again. Back foot. Ball's gone. Nowhere to go with it, and put it on him. This is where it changes. We're no longer playing 10 on 11 with Trey Lance. It's 11 on 11 because you have to account for what he can do right here. You give him a little bit of space. It's not a first down, Kurt. It's a touchdown with his speed and athleticism. Would have run in the low 4.5s if he had ran a 40 during his pro day. How about the strength and power and physicality? This is not a couple yards after contact to get you a first down. He runs through contact, finds his way into the end zone for a big play. So the checklist, you want to throw, run, lead? I don't know. Maybe somebody that doesn't turn it over and never loses. I guess if you're into that kind of thing, you might like Trey Lance.
I like it.
Is that what we talk about, checking the boxes?
Yeah, he checks
checks
every one.
all those boxes. And he's maybe the most raw of all of them, but I completely understand why you could see them jump up, make this move, and go get a guy that talented.
Well, as you know, at the XO Showdown on NFL Game Day Morning, there is usually somebody who has a video analysis as to who has won. Usually that does not work well
I feel
for
like
you,
I'm set up for
I don't
failure.
know. I don't know who it is
DJ's
either.
mock draft.
I've just been told to
There's
throw.
no chance I can steal this.
I've just been told to throw to the decision.
All right, who's got it?
Go for it.
This is really a tough call for me, guys. You got two outstanding small college quarterbacks that have gone on to do great things analyzing. App State, Daniel Jeremiah. Northern Iowa, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, a little bit better than Daniel as a quarterback moving forward, but as an analyst, both Hall of Fame material. Kurt, love your analysis of all players, including quarterbacks, but there's only going to be one XO champion. That's the headliner of the show, my good friend, your good friend as well, Kurt, but my long-standing good friend, DJ, Daniel Jeremiah, is the winner.
Oh, Mel. Thank
all
you,
the
Mel.
evaluators stick together.
Baby
The fix
Mel.
was in, Kurt.
And it's just
I love
typical,
you.
too. You know, he lifts me up. You know,
Yeah,
lifts
it
me up
lifts you
first,
up and then
boom,
smacks
then he
you.
takes the legs right out from underneath
Listen,
you.
I
see you, Mel.
I followed the breadcrumbs on that. DJ's name
That's
is
the
on the show.
breadcrumbs there,
He's the
too.
winner.
No doubt.
I love it. And it's first ever XO showdown from Mel Kiper right there. Fantastic. Always great to see Mel, and he'll be.
He's the best.
I ran into him the other day. He was on my show the other day. It was fantastic. All right, moving on. That's a huge, big domino to fall, and then there's the next one. That's for 3 and 4 tomorrow night. It's just going to be so exciting. What do the Falcons do?
Well, I think this, again, Trey Lance could be involved in this decision, but when you're a GM making your first pick, as Fontenot is there, to me, I'm looking at Kyle Pitts saying, I got a chance to get a Hall of Famer. I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is somebody you can line him up out wide. You can play him in the slot. He got better as a blocker this year than he was last year. So there's a lot to dream on of what your offense can do. Matt Ryan getting a chance to have a weapon like this. It's the best matchup on the field as a tight end versus whoever you're going to match him up with. It favors the offense, and he's the ultimate mismatch.
And how did we start this show? You know, I talked about hybrid to positionless. This guy's the ultimate, right? And the comp for me with him is a guy already in the league in Las Vegas named Darren Waller, who was a former wide receiver in college, grew into tight end size, but they use him the way that we expect to see Kyle Pitts being used, that you described, DJ, all over the field, every type of formation, get him on the back end of things, let him run one-on-one routes. Look at Darren Waller. Just isolate him, turn him loose, and look at him go over the top and make the catch. So no matter who you put on him, as you noted, he wins the mismatch. And the other part, Darren Waller, one of the best conditioned players in the league. I hear the same thing about Kyle Pitts and how he practices. And the last thing, guys, at Florida, they say, everything you saw on Saturdays, we saw it every day in practice. None of this is a surprise. He's that new position guy who doesn't have a position, who wins all the time.
Well, your mock is broken in a way that everybody's expecting the Bengals to have this decision. Do you take Jamar Chase and put him with his old college quarterback who's coming back from that knee injury? Or do you get the protector in Penei Sewell to protect the quarterback coming back from that knee injury? What do you think that happens?
You drafted
here?
Jonah Williams high. You just gave Riley Reif $7.5 million. But I still think when it comes down to it, they invest in protecting Joe Burrow, who we saw get injured last year. Penei Sewell, look, he's somebody that is a pure left tackle. That's where he's going to ultimately end up. You've got Jonah Williams there, so maybe he starts out on the right. Maybe kick Riley Reif inside, but I think that is the pick. We get to number 6. Dolphins, sigh of relief that Jamar Chase has made it to them. I think they position themselves hoping for either Pitts or Chase. They end up getting Chase here from LSU to give Tua a big-time number 1 wide receiver. And then we have some fun. Let's do a trade.
Yeah.
Let's take the Denver Broncos going from 9 to 7, just up a few spots to get Justin Fields. I know they just traded for Teddy Bridgewater. I do not think that would stop them from going up to get Justin Fields. It shouldn't be too expensive to just leapfrog the Carolina Panthers to get that done. Justin Fields provides an upgrade over Drew Lock, and when you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes, and now we see what Justin Herbert's going to be, I think they want to go find their guy that can go toe-to-toe.
And I like the move. As you said, they need to upgrade at that position. You feel like you have a roster in Denver that can compete if you can get better play at the quarterback position. And we talked about some of these other guys. We talked about Mac Jones. We talked about Zach Wilson. And there's things to like about those guys. But if I look at the complete picture, beyond Trevor Lawrence, with what we've seen from Justin Fields in college, I believe he gives you that complete picture. There is so much to like about him. Production, 2 years at the highest level, athleticism to give you a little bit extra. I would love this trade for the Denver Broncos.
And obviously, if the Bengals choose Chase, that might present the first trade of draft night a little earlier. The Dolphins might actually maybe get out of 6 if Chase and Pitts are gone. who knows about that? But the bottom line is if your mock goes the way that it does, Daniel, tomorrow night, that would be a record with 7 straight offensive players to start an NFL draft. That's never happened before. That said, we're now at number 8 for Carolina. What do you think about Justin Fields before?
Well, I absolutely love him, and I think this is one of those interesting times where just a few years ago we had a quarterback that a team traded up for and took at number 10 and was extremely upset he went at number 10 and said the whole league would pay. It didn't work out that way for Josh Rosen. I think Justin Fields will feel the same way, guys, even though if he goes at 7. I don't know if he'll talk about it, but he'll want to make people pay. And the best part is the league now meets these kids halfway. Stuff they did in college, they're going to do in the NFL, unlike having to learn an entirely new system as the quarterbacks had to coming out before.
So what do you think Carolina does at 8?
So we get to 8. I think Penei Sewell, if he was there, they run that card up, they turn it in. I think in this scenario, I think there's a real chance they go back to defense. Matt Rule did it all last year. He goes back one more time. One of the safest players in the draft in Patrick Surtain II. Somebody that now you add him to Jeremy Chin, who we saw was phenomenal last year at the second level. We look at Derek Brown at the first level. Now they've got playmakers all over the field. Detroit ends up sliding back just a couple spots, and they still get Rashawn Slater, who's going to plug right in at right tackle for them. You see in these highlights he played on both sides at Northwestern. He's a plug-and-play guy. I think he's got a chance to be a Pro Bowl tackle, something he could slide inside to guard, but it's a big upgrade for the Lions.
Falcons were on the clock in the run-through that's going on across the street, but right now the Cowboys are on the clock in the mock draft with you, Daniel Jeremiah. Who do you have the Cowboys taking at 10?
Well, I think if Surtain had made it to him, it would be the pick. He's gone. I think they stay at the position, they stay in the conference, and they go J.C. Horn from South Carolina, who is actually a little bit more twitched up even than Surtain. He's got outstanding ball skills and awareness. He's a very gifted corner who, again, safe. We saw him play this last year in the SEC against the best competition, and he held up extremely well there at South Carolina. So I like this pick for the Dallas Cowboys.
And you know why I like it, DJ? Because he has played inside in the slot at South Carolina. He's played outside. Okay, he has an aggressiveness to him. He's going to be upset if Surtain goes ahead of him. They like to compete that way. But the other part is Dan Quinn is the new defensive coordinator. When they went to the Super Bowl, he had reliable corners. Yeah. He had Trufant and Alford. He wants to go ahead and get that started there. The one thing I want from him, he has good ball skills. He had 23 pass breakups and only 2 interceptions. I want to turn a few more of those into picks.
Well, this is the part of the evening tomorrow night where the NFC East picks 10th, 11th, and 12th, Cowboys, Giants, and then Eagles. But you, sir, have the phone ringing in Giants headquarters, and it's old friend Bill Belichick calling up to make a trade.
I said the other day that you're more likely to see a right-hand turn in a NASCAR race than Dave Gettleman to trade back. And I was told there's road races where there are right-hand turns, which gave me the liberty to make a trade here with the Giants getting out, trading back. The Patriots end up coming up. And if you're going to make that type of move and you're Bill Belichick, you're doing it for this guy right here. Trey Lance could very well be the 3rd pick, could be the 4th pick. In this scenario, if he gets here, I think there'll be a multitude of teams trying to get up and get Trey Lance. This Patriots team is built to run the football, play great defense and special teams, don't turn it over. That's Trey Lance. That's what he's going to give you. I don't think you'd have to sit him for an entire season. I think he'll be able to get on the field earlier than people think.
You wouldn't have to, but you could. We got Cam Newton back for a year, a guy that plays a similar way to what Trey Lance could play like at the NFL level. I love this move. This is what the Patriots have been all offseason. We didn't like not being in the playoffs. We are going to be bold in free agency. This would be another bold move to go up and get this quarterback. And I've said it. This guy may have the best skill set across the board of all 5 of these top guys. Now, got some work to do. Only played that 1 year, smaller school, all this stuff we want to talk about. But he has a huge upside if he can reach his potential. The only bad part about this trade and this move is all 5 of these quarterbacks are gone, and it's only pick 11. I'm not sure what I'm doing the rest of the show.
Nothing.
What am I doing the rest of the show?
Take a nap.
You're set dressing. You're set dressing. Hall of Fame set dressing. You could send you back down to Canton. I mean, it's just down the road.
Yeah,
you could do that.
I always make
visit
a
your
visit
bus.
to Canton.
We're not
going to complain about that.
This is about the time of the night that we get kind of hungry. Just a run. Just go get us a run.
What do you guys like? What do you guys want? What do you guys want? I'll bring it back for you.
That's
Nice.
well done. That is absolutely well done. Look, guys, I think very quickly, that would be a home run for New England. And, Kurt, you said it, similar to Cam Newton with his skill set, but also he's not a total clone. So for everyone who says you got to play it one way or the other if you're New England, with this kid, you don't have to play it one way or the other. And Josh McDaniels is an offensive coordinator. That creativity keeps creeping out, plus this kid can win from the pocket. To me, I see Josh Allen.
And as if this rivalry between the Jets and the Patriots need any more. Like, if this happens, the fact that they would both have rookie quarterbacks chosen in the same draft that they both, took on the same night, attached at the hip forevermore.
If that happens, that doesn't blunt your joy, though, does it?
Because all Jet fans are thinking, well, Belichick just did it again. Like, literally 9 picks. They had 9 picks to enjoy.
Doesn't it sound weird, though, that everybody in that division is chasing the Buffalo Bills quarterback?
Oh, sure.
Not the New England Patriots quarterback.
And for good reason. No doubt about that. So, okay, now the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be sitting there at 12th overall. And there's got wide receivers over the years. Obviously the Philadelphia Eagles have been looking for wide receivers over the years, taking Jordan Matthews in 2014, Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson on the board. Sorry, Eagles fans. It's a year later you took Nelson Aguilar, who's been very, very good in the league, but there's Tyler Lockett and Stephon Diggs. We all know what happened 2 years ago with DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin doing what they're doing. Jalen Reagor last year was all banged up. Justin Jefferson was a revelation. Chase Claypool certainly had some burst and some moments for Pittsburgh. Do they go wide receiver here, 12th overall?
If you don't succeed, try again. I think they go back, and I think they get a pure number 1 wide receiver. The best route runner in this year's draft class is Devontae Smith, and he's going to reunite with his old college teammate in Jalen Hurts.
And we were in our meeting today, and I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I can handle this comp, because it just leapt in my head. You take somebody of Devontae Smith's size in Philadelphia, his comp is Allen Iverson.
I like it.
Height, weight, last NCAA season, points per game, total touchdowns. I mean, put him in Philadelphia. I'm just throwing that out there. That's his comp.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. The Slim Reaper, which is Devontae Smith, and Bubba Chuck, who was Allen Iverson. That was his hometown nickname.
I mean, I think teams are trying to find versatile players, and turns out we've got a versatile player right there at the end of the desk. I mean, comp's not a problem.
Hey, man, what you tell me again, because you guys are more plugged in. Yeah. What's Devontae Smith's thoughts on practice? Anything? You got any idea?
I think he'll be there.
Any overarching thoughts on the subject?
Hey, listen, he played for Nick Saban. He showed up for practice.
Hey, Larry Brown was a Hall of Famer, too. Let's not forget. But
he's not going to step over Tyronn Lue, I can guarantee you.
I bet. I don't know. That's what just kind of leapt to me. All right, so now the Chargers, you obviously call their action on the radio there in Los Angeles. What do you think the Chargers do?
There's a little bit of hole at left tackle, but I think there's enough depth in this class they can get that accomplished in the next round. And with Jalen Waddle and his speed sitting right there staring at you if you're Tom Telesco, you look at those Colts teams he was around with Bill Polian, it was playmakers and pass rushers. He gets a premier playmaker to add with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Now you get to 14. Last year, we saw a Minnesota Vikings defense that was unrecognizable from what we've seen with Mike Zimmer in the past. You take the best, most talented edge rusher in Jalen Phillips and put him opposite Danielle Hunter, see if you can't get that back on track. And after trading back Dave Gettleman, he ends up getting a premier defensive player in Micah Parsons, who the way he plays just felt like a New York Giant to me. Just fast and physical and aggressive. So that slide back, to me, they still get a guy they would covet, potentially could take there with the 11th pick. They get some extra picks and still get him at 15.
DJ, Jalen Phillips is central casting in Minnesota. Looks like Danielle Hunter. Yeah. That's perfect for Mike Zimmer. But Dave Gettleman, the GM of the Giants, he was saying, hey, I didn't trade back in the first round because I'm not going to get fleeced. Well, if you trade back in this one, you're not getting fleeced, getting Micah Parsons. This is what the Giants like. This is their DNA. Defense, defense, defense. Patrick Graham, defense coordinator, salivate for this pick to happen.
And we also know how Giants fans were upset the way that Philadelphia handled, shall we say, game 256 last year to get a better draft position, and they wind up behind the Giants, who then the Giants do behind them and take a Pennsylvania kid with the pick. I mean, that would be quite something if that's the way this all plays out tomorrow night. So we're halfway through now that we've hit the Cardinals on the clock at 16th overall. What do you got?
Well, I didn't want to do too many trades in a mock draft because I do think that the Cardinals will end up trading back. They don't have third or fourth round picks because of some of the moves they made. But this is a player I think they would target, and Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. You add him with Isaiah Simmons from last year. You have got, again, the positionless players Charles was referencing earlier. They're collecting them there in Arizona with Vance Joseph dialing things up. The Raiders, it's been wholesale changes for Mike Mayock and John Gruden along the offensive line. This is, again, I use this word a lot tonight, a safe pick in Elijah Vera Tucker, who's going to start at guard. He played some tackle last year for USC, but I think he'll be a Pro Bowl guard. And Miami, with that first pick, they look at the offensive side of the ball. I think they come back with defense. Penei out of Michigan. I think he's going to be a better pro than he was in college. They moved him around too much at Michigan. I think they're going to park him on the edge with Coach Flores and cut him loose. We get to Washington. Offensive line is an area they could address. But I look at Ron Rivera and his track record and the importance of the linebacker position he placed in Carolina with guys like Luke Kuechly and drafting Shaq Thompson in the first round. To me, Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame is too talented for him to pass up. And then we get to the Bears with a glaring hole after missing or losing Kyle Fuller. You replace him with Greg Newsome, and you only have to use a tank of gas to bring him in.
That's it, yeah. Right down Lakeshore Drive. To the Indianapolis Colts now at 21 overall. What do you have?
Well, I think this is where you could see some edge rushers toward the bottom of one, top of two. And I've got Joe Tryon from Washington, who looks like central casting as an edge rusher. He's tall, he's long, he's got some speed to power coming off the edge. He would pair up with Buckner inside and Tryon outside. I like that combination. We get to 22 here with the Tennessee Titans. Jonnu Smith is gone. Corey Davis is gone. They're going to need somebody to pair up with A.J. Brown, so go shopping at the same store. Go to Ole Miss and get his teammate there in Elijah Moore, who is very well thought of around the league. The Jets at 23, they're another team I think could move up or back. Travis Etienne was put on this earth to run in this offense in outside zone. He is made for this. Put foot in the ground and explode. It will look completely different with that Jets offense with him in the backfield this season. And then now we get to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hear the Najee Harris stuff. I think he fits there. But this offensive line lost 3 starters. They've got to do some work at the up front. And to me, they do it with Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, who can play on either the left or the right side. The Jags, this might look like a head-scratcher. You've got Cam Robinson at left tackle. You take Christian Darrisaw, who's a left tackle. Well, Cam Robinson's on a franchise tag. Probably going to be his last year in Jacksonville. You get his replacement and might even free yourself up to trade him to bring back some assets. So that, to me, is thinking long-term about your number 1 overall pick and Trevor Lawrence. They have a pretty good group up front. But having the long-term left tackle in place, I think, is a smart move.
And again, the Jaguars with 2 picks. That's a pick they get for the Jalen Ramsey trade from the Rams. And then the Jets, that's the one that they traded the Prez for. And Jamal Adams, do you like the Travis Etienne acquisition?
I do, because we always talk, Rich, about helping these young quarterbacks. And a lot of times we're talking about offensive line and that. But how about a weapon in Travis Etienne? And you know how they always told us it's cool to stay in school? How about for Travis Etienne? That's exactly what happened to him. He increased his worth. He became better in the run game. I thought his vision got better as carrying the ball. And then in the passing game, he went from 37 catches in 2019 to 48 in 2020 in 3 less games, and his yards per catch went up. That helps him become a much better asset, and I think they'll love him in New York.
What do the Browns do at 26? This place is going to go nuts when the Browns get on the clock.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Rich, they used to be the hardest team to mock draft for because there were so many needs. Now they're hard to mock draft for because there aren't any needs.
I love it.
I like the linebacker from Kentucky and Jamin Davis. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to cover. This play right here ended up being a house call against Tennessee.
Really?
He caught that
Really?
Sorry,
Tape
Chuck.
doesn't lie.
We get to 27 with the Baltimore Ravens. Pass rushers, pass rushers, pass rushers. Jason Owe, obviously more disruption than production. Didn't have a sack last year. Ran 4.3 at his pro day. Plays hard. I think Wink Martindale is going to be able to get him in matchups to help him get home at the quarterback. We get to 28. The Saints do not have a corner opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. That has to get accomplished in this draft. They do it here with Tyson Campbell, who isn't a perfect player, needs to do a better job of finding and playing the football, but height, weight, speed, athleticism, there's a lot to dream on with him with the Saints.
Well, I mean, Packers fans know this statistic off the top of their head, and, you know, it's not as if the Packers have never drafted any help for Aaron Rodgers in an NFL draft. I mean, that is a bit of a myth. But last year, with the quarterback being the first-round selection, Jordan Love, I mean, it really set people off. And the question for Aaron Rodgers is, I guess, this quarterback has thrown only 1 pass to a first-round pick in his career, Mercedes Lewis. Who is Aaron Rodgers? So what do they do in this draft?
I think if Elijah Moore were to be there, I think they would actually take a wide receiver. In this mock draft, he is gone. So they go with the offensive line, and they get somebody in Dylan Radins out of North Dakota State, the second North Dakota State player to go, joining Trey Lance, somebody who can play tackle at the Senior Bowl, showed he could play guard as well. He has the athleticism and the versatility the Green Bay Packers have always coveted in offensive linemen. So you don't get the weapon that maybe Aaron Rodgers would have liked, but you add to a very good offensive line.
Fell season after we get through at the draft. The Buffalo Bills, a rare spot for them to pick 30th overall. What do you think here?
Oh, look, Asante Samuel would be a great fit with the Bills. And I know this because I was in Philadelphia when Sean McDermott was a defensive coordinator with Asante Samuel Sr., and he had 16 picks in 2 years during that period of time. So he knows about the genes, he knows about the ball skills, and it would fit beautifully with that Buffalo defense. The offense is taken care of. Let's get a playmaker there in the back end to pair up with Tre'Davious White. I think it'd be a great fit with the Bills. We get to pick 31, Rich. The Baltimore Ravens, Orlando Brown is now a Kansas City Chief. They end up going to Notre Dame to get bookends to pair with Ronnie Stanley and Liam Eichenberg, and that would make it 4 straight left tackles from Notre Dame that have gone in the first round since Brian Kelly took over, joining Zach Wilson, Ronnie Stanley, and McGlinchey. And then finally, 32, we saw it last year with the Kansas City Chiefs taking a running back. This year, you see it with Tampa. And you can say, oh, the running back room has got a lot of bodies in there. Oh, they're all on the last year of their deal. So this gives them their long-term back, the best available player in Najee Harris.